how's the portrait business, Mr. Silvio Rone? You are not. Describe what you do, because it's not a photography. It's not a regular portrait. It's art.
It's like describing how a car rides. It's like describing a good meal. It's like describing making love. You can't.
Now you got my attention.
You can't. How can you describe an experience? How can you describe a feeling? How can you describe emotion? Words doesn't do art justice, in my opinion.
But that's what you do in the portraits that you do. How would you describe? Because it's a combination of. You explain it better.
Well, the work is a combination of technology,
right,
and old masters' skills. That's just the two-dimensional part of it, or the three-dimensional part of it. To get the image that people see requires all kinds of other qualities. It requires a connection. It requires a rapport. It requires loving people and knowing people and wanting to see who they really are, and having the ability to give that who they really are back,
and so
for the generations that come.
Right, and so when somebody poses for your,
well, you don't really pose. I think it's more about being who you are, and then the artist knowing how to present you in that best way.
And that is I think the key and the essence of the artist inside you, Silvio, because you're able to capture the essence of the individual.
You say capture it, people give it to me. I'm open to receiving it, and it's given to me.
And is that because they feel they have to have an incredible level of trust with you? For them
Trust
to open
is
up.
Very important.
For them to open up and you know, so you can. Again,
so they can be themselves.
They can be themselves.
So a person can be themselves. Yeah. And how do you explain that? How do you? It happens.
How long have you been doing this?
45 years.
Is there, in 45 years, is there one instance or one subject, one person, one portrait that stands out above all of them?
So yes, there are, and then the last one I created. so it's everyone. Yes, there are certain highlights, and then the last one I did. It's like the last performance, or the last meal you cooked, or the last time you made love, or the last of anything.
Like,
there.
Like about 5.
Yeah. In your case,
5 hours ago.
Yeah.
That's the feeling. All right. So, has there ever been a situation where the person that you're trying to put into this beautiful combination of technology and has there been a situation where you actually rejected that individual because it's just not cooperating with you, or that there's not that trust involved, or there's something to that respect? That you said, you know what, maybe you're not.
I can't do this work.
I can't. I'm sorry. I can't.
There's something that's not going on. What happens is that there are some people I've connected to more deeply than others.
Okay.
And the deeper connections give a richer result. Some images, some things I've done, I'm more, I appreciate and like better than others. I've never had a subject failure. It would always be something that I wasn't able to do, the connection on my part. I don't resonate with everybody. In the interview process, before I do work for somebody, you know if you connect or not. So no one has ever been portrayed by me that I didn't connect with on some level, some deeper than others.
Sure. How did you get into this? Did you?
For me, it's real simple. I started in high school as a photographer, but what really made me get into doing it professionally, I took it from a hobby to a vocation, an avocation to a vocation.
Yeah.
Was because my arrogance thought I could do this better than anybody else.
But and then you do. You actually do. I mean, your portraits are just.
Thank
your
you.
work is very unique. Is unlike, you know, the regular photo that goes on top of the.
They're
the
portraits.
They're
I create
beautiful
portraits. I create portraits that are really only on loan to the people who I create them for. They're really for the generations that follow them.
And that's important, because I think what you want to create is a legacy that will last.
Some people are aware of that more than others, and it's those who understand legacy, and have a sense of history, know that they have the opportunity to determine how people remember them.
Do you have to have a certain type of ego, if you will, to get your because
No,
here's
not
I am.
at all.
I want my portrait done so that people can remember me, for the rest of time.
Why do you have children?
I do.
Why did you have children?
I wanted to create a legacy, and one of them, I'm not going to
Is
say
that
which one.
egotistical?
No, it isn't. One of them was an accident, but I'm not going to say.
Yeah, that's
That's a different. So,
it often is considered to be egotistical to have a portrait made of yourself.
okay.
And if that is what the impetus is, then it's tainted from the beginning. But most people who find their way to my studio have a bigger sense, have a look at the bigger picture. To me, a mirror is egotistical. You go into somebody's home that is full of mirrors, that's egotistical to me.
Huh.
Going into someone's home and they have portraits of the people that are important to them in their lives, that is not egotistical. That is commemorative. That is connection. That is having the ability to admire and appreciate and connect with those who've preceded us. They may have passed, or they may be with us, and there was a time in that person's life when we wanted to remember that person just the way they were. Or they may be somebody is ill and nothing's been done, and you want to remember them before they pass. There are so many reasons, and it's not about ego. It's about connection. It's about love. It's about all these transitory feelings that so often in our culture we want to stuff down and ignore. They're inconvenient.
Yep.
So we just don't go there.
45 years is a long span
Yeah.
to do this. Is there an era that you remember better? I mean, during the 60s, the 70s,
Yeah.
where
I'm 67. Wait a second. So, I started actually it's 47 years. I started professionally when I was 20.
wow. So that is a long time. Look at this. Don't worry, we'll take care of this here in a minute.
Do you want me to sign something?
Probably at the maybe you want to take my picture at the end of this thing, but
It would be more like you would like me to do your portrait rather than, you see, it's interesting because every single person I meet, I would like to have the opportunity to create their portrait. But not every person that meets me wants their portrait created. And I'm not one of these people that just inadvertently creates somebody's portrait. You have to want it. It's an active it's an active thing. It's not a passive thing. So I don't take anything from you. You give it to me.
Going back to the question, I mean, is there, during this 4 decades that you have been doing this, is there a decade that stands out as a more noteworthy, or something about the decade that kind of stands up in your mind? The 70s, of course, with disco era.
Earlier in my career, the work I did was not as available technologically to people, so they would hire someone to create portraits for them. And as a result, more portraits were made in a quote-unquote professional or artistic way. Today, because of technology, people have this sense that if they can see it on their monitor or on their telephone or in some digital format, that's good enough. There's a lot of good enough going on. And unfortunately, that is so transitory and so temporary. It's temporary. I have never seen anybody cry over a cell phone photograph. At looking at a cell phone or on a monitor screen and cry. But I do have people cry when they see the portraits that I create that hang in people's homes and businesses. It's different. And it's not temporary. I mean, you have a portrait hanging in your home, and every time you go past it, if you want, you can connect. And you see it differently each time. Most of it's because where you're coming from. So this current decade is the most powerful because fewer and fewer people do what I do. There's fewer and fewer people that have the training and experience
40 plus years
to create portraits. And what's happening is you have like a drive-by, machine gun kind of less than inspired connection, less than inspired work. Pretty pictures, because people are expressing themselves creatively, and I think that's terrific. But portraiture is a whole different thing than photography.
This show is about entrepreneurs, people that have the passion like you do. And I can imagine people that are watching this show right now that want to become entrepreneurs, that have the artistic acumen to become, what would you call yourself, a portrait maker, an artist?
Portrait artist.
Portrait artist?
You don't have to be an entrepreneur to be a portrait artist.
You don't?
No, I mean, you can create portraits, and
it's a business?
Well, it's a business if you sell them. I've been into a lot of artists' homes, a lot of people's homes, and their homes are full of their art. They've never sold anything. So being entrepreneurial and business-oriented and being creative, that's an unusual combination. And also being successful at it. That's the nexus of everything I think that you're talking about.
And do you have people that you teach the art that you have?
I have mentors. I've mentored people in different parts of the world, yeah.
And I was going to say, because here it is an art form, and if you're not passing it to somebody that is wanting to become like you, and that's, I think, where I'm going with this entrepreneurship thing, is that your secrets, your art, your technique,
there's really secrets. There's no secrets to me.
They might not be evident to you, but for somebody like me looking from the outside in, how did you do this?
There are techniques, in anything there are certain techniques and skills, technology and things of that nature. But the real secret is the ability to love someone, connect with someone from here, not from here.
So the best
That's the secret.
Got it. And the advice that you would give somebody that wants to be a portrait artist, what would it be?
If you want to be an artist, find someone whose work you love and study with them. If you are an artist, do your art, do your work, and if you want to sell it, then learn how to be a business person.
You're an incredible man, and you look at yourself, man. You're just everything is in place.
So
much like your art.
So what I'm curious about is what you don't show when you do these interviews.
Here's what I'm going to show, and it's this beautiful T-shirt I'm going to give you because we're very happy.
Would you like me to wear it?
Well, you can do anything with
Then it needs to be a different size.
Yeah, it will be different. And we got different sizes. This is just a sample. What do you mean, smaller? This one has the virtues of all of our entrepreneurs.
You got a good price on the small ones, right?
I tell you what, this is the small ones, and we're gonna put it on you, and we're gonna throw water on you, do a wet T-shirt contest. See how you like that?
That'll go over well.
Simplicity, discipline, humility, kindness, and honesty. Those are the virtues that we see in
Thank
you
you.
and in every entrepreneur that comes around here.
Thank
in the show,
you.
man. It's beautiful. And where can we appreciate your art? Do you have a specific website?
Biltmorestudios.com. BILTMORESTUDIOS.com.
Go there. Go to BiltmoreStudios.com and check out the most amazing portraiture.
Thank you.
Art.
Thank you.
And that's what you're. You're an artist, man.
Oh, I know that.
You're a great artist. And with that, we're out.